Welcome back to yet again another episode of the Upgrade My Rituals podcast. My name is Kevin McKellar, the host of the show, and this is, of course, the show for people looking for productivity through a system of daily routines. So when their head hits the pillow at the end of the night, they feel really, really good about what direction their life is on and where they're headed. And that is a tricky thing. And a lot of times we need to take kind of inventory of where we are and where we're going. And this being July 1st when this airs, it's a perfect time to do that. So what this episode is going to be about is going to be about how I usually execute a mid-year review. And my mid-year review is extremely easy. It's a very simple process, and it's nothing that I even have to write down. It's a process that happens in my head with 3 simple questions. So before we get into that, I want to kind of talk to you about a couple things. One, July 1st being literally midway through the year, there's a couple things. One, it's the beginning of the third quarter. So with that being said, in the last couple of weeks, you have not heard an episode from me because of the fact that I've been so involved with the launch of the Ritual Design Planner. Yeah, so I'm super excited. I'm so happy for your initial feedback. If you haven't gotten one already, please head over to Amazon, pick one up. It's my pride and joy, and I think it's one of the best things that I could create to provide you the value that I know Ritual Design has to offer, the system that has completely changed my life. So head over to Amazon. That would be so grateful and appreciative. And of course, if you do get one, please leave a review. Tell me what you think. That'd be great. So with that being said, being the beginning of the third quarter and the middle of the year, there's a couple of things happening. So one, we are halfway through the annual goals that we may have set. Now, Ritual Design does not talk about annual goals. I do set annual goals for myself almost every year of my life. I mean, my professional life, that is. The problem why I don't really focus them in a formal setting is because with my lifestyle, at least, almost every year, either some of them have changed, some of them have become null and void, some of them are just too either easy and they're done within a couple of months, or they're too difficult and they should have been really a 5-year type of aspiration. So I really don't put too much weight on annual goals anymore. I do set them at the beginning of the year, and I do kind of look at them. And with that being said, now July 1st being the midway of the year, I get to say, okay, where am I headed? Am I on target? Am I close? Or am I totally far off? And at the same time, I'm very granular with and very methodical with the quarterly reviews. And that's why in the back of the planner, you'll see a quarterly review section. So I go through, okay, where am I on track? The last 90 days, I told myself I was going to do X, Y, Z. I know I had enough time to do it, and I mapped it out every single week. I had 13 tries to do it, 13 weeks within a quarter. Why am I either behind or, what's happening? So with that kind of dichotomy of saying, all right, we're halfway through something, or we are at the end and the beginning of something else, is a very interesting place that we can be when it comes to setting goals and ambitions for our lives. So my mid-year review consists of 3 questions. 1, am I on target? Right? Am I headed in the right direction? Am I making some progress on my annual goals? Am I making 0 progress whatsoever? How many of these goals have already become null and void, right? Maybe I took a different direction in my life, and that goal for, my business is now, not necessary. Now let's take a look at something like, say, weight loss, right? Or for me, my personal perspective, weight gain, right? Muscle gain. Am I on target? Now, to be perfectly honest with you, this year I did not set annual goals. I did last year, but last year was the most tragic and worst year of my life for me, and that spilled over into this year. It was a very, very intense thing that I'm really not going to get into this episode, but it just didn't happen, right? And that's okay. I'm totally okay with that. So I'm focused just on my quarterly goals like I usually am, and that's fine. But for instance, like without setting annual goals, right? I don't really have a vision for my weight gain, because for me, I know that putting on muscle, right, is a very hard process. It's a really long life commitment, because I am just a skinny, fast metabolism guy. So for me to really gain weight is a very difficult thing. This year, of all things, I have been the most consistent with eating. I've been with working out. I finally became very serious with my diet, and wouldn't you know it, I actually gained about 12 to 15 pounds of muscle so far. That is the most I've ever gained and the most consistent I've ever been. Probably because of the different mental shift now I approach working out in a very much more holistic and just with different goals, especially having a child now. It's totally different. So with that being said, am I on target for certain things in my life, right? Again, this is just an exercise because this year I didn't set annual goals myself. But am I on target? I would say so, well, at least with weight gain, right? With upgrade, yeah, definitely on target, because the planner's up and launched. The Royal Ritual program is in process right now. That'll be launching in the next few months. So really, really super exciting stuff happening over here. So that's the first question. Am I on target? Number 2, what are the things that I'm doing that's working? So now I have to figure out, what is it that I'm doing that is, helping me get to where I need to get. Usually that boils down to how effective and how consistent am I with my ritual design. Everything, when we get to what am I doing and the granular stuff, usually falls in, what am I doing every day? What's the routines structured around my day to then ultimately set me up to, okay, work out every morning, 6 days a week, put a block of time for business from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night that, most of the time I would just be sitting in front of the TV, making sure that I'm, family oriented and looking out for the development of Quinn and spending as much time as I can with Ashley. Like, these things all fall into a daily consistent plan of action. That's ritual design. That's what it is. So usually I just look back of, okay, how's my ritual design working, right? Look at the review pages, look at the every week, look at my my score charts, right? Like, where am I with this? Because if everything's mapped out correctly, I don't really have to think of, what am I doing? Well, how is my ritual design working, right? How many times is my actuator helping, right? How many times am I doing, just executing to the best of my ability? Now, that's number 2. And you could probably guess what the third question I ask myself is, what is not working, right? What is the clog in my system? Has the clog changed? So this may be, again, as you probably heard from previous episodes, my clog in my ritual design is, as stupidly enough, is doing the dishes, right? Now, what's funny is that years ago, that was very consistent for a long time. It was always doing the dishes. That was my clog. Now with Quinn, things are different. It's not, my whole schedule has changed, right? And it continues to change, which is tricky, because the first 3 months Ashley was home. Now she's not. So we are reevaluating on a weekly basis, and there is obviously much less time available to me to do certain things. So that is really, really where it's becoming tricky. Now, I will tell you this, is that my clog, I believe, is shifting to, when do I start dinner? If I start dinner between 6 and 6:30, then everything, or at least 6:15, kind of pushing it, 6:30 is the absolute latest. If I can start cooking then we're good. But my clog is if I wait till later. Now, what is the actual clog? It's not starting dinner late, right? That's just a part of your schedule. It's something else, right? And what it is me wanting to do a little bit of personal work on the computer when Ashley gets home and takes Quinn for a little bit. If I realize that that's maybe my new clog, I haven't really, I'm still working through it, but if I realize that that may be shifting there, that may be what's, throwing certain things off. So this is a whole really fluid process. And the mid-year review, consisting of those 3 simple questions, for me at least, am I on target, what's working, and what's not, usually is all I need. Because again, I'm not super worried about my annual goals. If you are, maybe you have a much more in-depth mid-year review. Maybe you're looking at every single annual goal and looking at its, breakdown of its action items and all these different things. For me, that happens every quarter, right? I've got 4 chances every year to move my life in a new direction. What am I going to do, right? And to be honest with you, seasonality is huge. Right now, we're entering the heat, if you will, for no pun intended, of the summer, right? We're hitting to the summer. So I know schedules are going to be different. I know we're going to be seeing more people, especially after the pandemic is basically done. We're going to be seeing more people. We're going to be, Quinn has to meet more of our family yet. I mean, she hasn't even met everybody. So we have a huge summer schedule packed for us. I know that's going to be an issue, right? So I know that that's going to be different from then the winter, where we're really not seeing too many people, and there's not all the yard work that I have to do, which is insane. So with that being said, that is my simple 3 questions that I ask myself every middle of the year. I don't write anything down. I literally just take a walk around the block and I just think through this process, right? This year, I really don't have to do too much of that because I didn't even set annual goals. So I'm just worried for the rest of the year for Q3 and Q4. What do I want to happen in the next 90 days? Then the 90 days after that. And then I can start fresh and see if I want to even set annual goals the year after. But with that being said, that is my mid-year review. I hope that simple process has helped you. I hope it is something that you can apply. And I really, really hope that you guys take a moment to go check out the Ritual Design Planner on Amazon. You can literally find it if you type in like quarterly planner, which is really cool. So once again, thank you so much for listening, being a member of this community. It's very it's exciting to me. It really is that you're here and trying to become a better version of yourself. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, leave a review to the podcast. That'll help not only me, but it'll help more people find the show. And with that being said, I will see you next week on the Upgrade My Rituals podcast.